Well, my name's Margaret Stevens and I live locally, and I came to be involved in this project purely by accident, I must say. I had a lot of yarn and wool and stuff that I wanted to get rid of, and I'd read in the paper in I think it was my Ballarat or the local paper that this project was underway and that they were looking for helpers. And I thought, well, that's a very good thing, but I won't be helping, but I'll go down and I'll take them some yarn. And so I packed up a big bag of yarn and headed down here the next week. And they were all very gracious, and it was all very noisy, as you can imagine, with young people. And because I'm an old people, you know, I sort of thought, oh, that's all right, I'm only leaving the wool. I went to leave the yarn, and they said, oh no, don't do that, please stay. We'd really like your expertise. And so I stayed that day, and when it was time to go, Kate asked me if I'd come back again the next week. And I came back again the next week, and the kids didn't seem to worry that I was an old chook. They seemed to want to relate and talk about things. And as that was part of the aim of the project, I thought, well, I'm quite happy to do that. And so I've been back each week since. Well, at the moment we've undertaken, apart from the general project of teaching some of these young people who come in to knit and crochet, because those are skills that require a certain amount of perseverance and discipline, which is probably not a bad idea, but it's a pleasant way of doing it. But the main project we're working on at the moment is a project for Africa, in Johannesburg particularly, in South Africa. We found that there was a group of people who were caring for orphans who had come from HIV parents, and they were mostly HIV positive themselves, and they were left without families to care for them, and they were put into care, but the people who were looking after them really didn't have a lot of finance available. And we saw pictures of babies, quite small babies, who were being looked after just laying on a piece of lino on dirt floors with very little covering. And so they were asking, because it gets very cold at night, everybody thinks in Africa that you never get cold, they haven't been there, and so they asked us if we'd be willing to help with knitting squares that could be put together. And so we're sort of making 20 centimetre by 20 centimetre squares that will be sent to South Africa in bulk, and then some South African women are prepared to give their time and expertise to put them together to make rugs for the children, so that at least a number of the children will have some sort of covering at night. And some of them are just in bush huts, and some of them are in sort of housing of some sort, but none of which is very warm. And so that's the aim of the exercise. So we started with the squares, but we've collected toys and what else? Singlets and jumpers and whatever, so that we've almost now opened the project up to be almost anything that would be of use to young children or babies, and that would help to keep them warm. And if this goes out, then perhaps all those student nurses that I've helped with their training over the years, they're all pretty good knitters and community people, so they might hop on board and do some squares and drop them at the door here between 2 and 6. That'd be really great. Well, the best way would be to ring Kate Moran on through the council, through the youth services number, And I think that would probably be the best way, because she's sort of coordinating the collection and whatever. But I'm pretty sure that would be the best way, because it's really her responsibility through the council, not mine. I'm just, you know, a blow-in. I love them. I really do love young people and children. I've always been. My father used to call me the Pied Piper of North Fitzroy, which was where we lived when I was young. And I really enjoy them. I learn a lot from them. Some of them, as I say, when I was working at the hospital, a lot of them I've been able to, I hope, teach something, maybe not too much, but something. And it's really, what can I say, it's just a different world, and I learn so much from them, you know, that I wouldn't ever have the opportunity to learn otherwise. So I'm very grateful, and they're very good. Last week, one of the girls even felt comfortable enough to ask me to take, she'd busted the seam of her jeans, and sort of felt comfortable enough to say to me, although I don't have any other contact with her at all, but she felt comfortable enough to say, "Margaret, do you think you could mend my pants?" And it's those sort of things, you know, that they will accept even an old chook, you know, in a very gracious way. And I really appreciate that. It makes giving your time worthwhile. If there are people in the community who, you know, do like to knit or crochet and really feel that they'd like to share their skills with the kids, I shouldn't call them kids, should I? They're young adults, beg your pardon. Then I'm sure that, you know, if they were to contact Kate, or if it's anybody who knows me, I'd be happy for them to contact me at home. It's no problem at all. So, and I would encourage them to do it, because I'm sure they'll get a lot from it, probably more than they put into it.